All right. What's up, everybody? Let's go. We are hopping on into post-snap read on this Monday night. Appreciate you guys showing up and showing out. Let's rock and roll as we recap the weekend games. Hawkins, Giants fan, welcome. So, we are going to talk about what the heck has happened this weekend because a lot of crazy stuff. The Colts didn't play, but a lot of things to talk about and see what you guys are thinking about on this show. So welcome in. We're going to start talking about the Jets and the Patriots. Jets are trash. Jets are awful. They're going to the bottom 5. They're going to be top 3 with the picks. They need a new quarterback. They're horrible. They're brutal. Fields is benched. They're going to Rod Taylor the rest of the way. This guy sucks. There's no future. Fields is no future. Brutal. What up, Thane on the purple side saying Bears on top of the North? It's true. Charles Adderley is here as well. Yeah, so the Jets are bad. They need a quarterback. They have a lot of picks. They got 2 picks next year thanks to the Colts because they gave them sauce. And then they have, I think, 3 first-round picks in 2027. So the Jets are going to build up a team, but they're going to be at the bottom the next couple of years until they start to form that team. So no offense. Garrett Wilson, he's got nobody else on that team, with Breece Hall maybe. But the Jets are bad. Bad. They're done. They're out. They're gone. They're brutal. Horrendous. Now let's talk about the Patriots. All right. Drake May, awesome. This kid is great. Throws are on the money. Beautiful. I know it was against the Jets with no Sauce, no Williams. But, man, I hate the Patriots, but Drake May is doing fantastic. It's driving me bonkers, but I keep buying his rookie cards because why not? If this kid's going to be good, he's going to be freaking good. All right? The Patriots are 9-2. They're right there with the Broncos at 9-2. The Colts are 8-2. Hopefully they beat the Chiefs and they're right there with them. But it's a 3-way race to that number 1 seed, and you can't count out the Patriots. They're going to be tough, like I said, with the Broncos and Colts. Pretty insane. May threw for 281 and a touchdown. Fields threw for 116 and a touchdown. Awful. Justin Fields just hasn't developed, won't develop, not going to develop, going to be bad. Bad stuff. What up, Gina? What's happening? And Steve is here. Welcome, people. Welcome in. Yeah. So, Patriots should win their division, and the Jets going to be the bottom of their division. All right. Then the Commanders and the Dolphins on Sunday morning. Commanders and Dolphins. The Commanders played a closer game than I thought, but they're not going anywhere. They lost 16-13. Commanders 3-8. Dolphins 4-7. Somebody had to win. That was ugly. Nothing to talk about these teams. They're going to be on the bottom. Commanders, I had pegged as a playoff team at the beginning of the year. They're done. They're out. So the Jets eliminated. This is not official. Not official, people. But Jets eliminated. Commanders eliminated. Dolphins eliminated. No need to talk about these guys anymore. As we go forward into the rest of the season with pre-snap read, post-snap read, we don't need to talk about the Commanders. We don't need to talk about the Dolphins. We don't need to talk about the Jets. All right? So this is the last time we're talking about it. We're like, nope, we're not focusing on them, not spending time on them. They're not worth our time. All right, I have better things to do. I have a lot more to do. I have kids to teach, things to prepare for, streams to cover. Like, I don't have time to waste my time with trash like the Commanders, Dolphins, and Jets. And more to follow. More teams are coming. We're gonna delete teams from the Rhino list very, very soon. Right here, right now on this show. Colts got to keep going. They will. They are, and they will. So we're deleting the Commanders. We're deleting the Dolphins. We're deleting the Jets out of here. They're done. No need to talk about them. But just real quick before we officially delete them, Tua threw for 171 yards, no touchdowns. This guy, come on. Terrible. Mariota threw for 213. Brutal. They're done. They're gone. Adios. Crappy game. Sorry there, Berlin. No, it was Madrid. My bad. That game definitely did not take my breath away. Because it wasn't in Berlin. It was out there in Madrid. Sorry. It's close, but not really. Anyway, Panthers and Falcons. This game went to overtime. The Panthers won in overtime 30-27. The Falcons dropped to 3-7. Penix got hurt, destroyed his knee, I believe, or ACL, MCL, PCL, QCL, Penix CL. Doesn't matter. It's destroyed. He's done. He's out for the year. See you later. He sucked anyway. He was trash. I got his little rookie card, little jersey on it. That's worth $3. That just goes to show you. He's not good. He's terrible. He's got a lot of room for growth if you want to spin the positive. Falcons, done. They're 3-7. Shockingly, the Panthers are 6-5. The Panthers with a winning record. Bryce Young and the Panthers with a winning record right now. Do they have a chance in the playoffs? Let me ask you guys. Panthers have a chance to make the playoffs. 1 for yes and no 2. Let me know what you guys think. Do the Panthers have a legitimate chance at 6-5 to make the playoffs? They're right behind the Bucs. They are honestly right behind the Buccaneers because they lost to the Bills. The Buccaneers are 6-4. They're a half a game behind the Bucs in that division. This is crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Hawkins says no. Man, Larry's going to be mad at me. They're done. We don't need to talk about them. I'm sorry. They're done. They lost, what, 5 in a row? They lost 4 or 5 in a row. Might be 5. That's how bad they are. They got Kirk Cousins the rest of the way. They might as well have Desmond Ridder the rest of the way. He probably wants the offensive coordinator, the coach fired, clean house. But the Panthers are 6-5. Everybody's saying no, they're not a legitimate chance to make the playoffs. But we're still going to talk about them because they have a winning record. So we're still talking about them. But the Falcons, off this channel. They're out of here. See you later, Falcons. You got nothing. We don't need to talk about you anymore after the next couple minutes. Bryce Young threw for 448 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Falcons. Bryce Young. Do you remember this guy? Yeah, that guy. Bryce Young. 448 yards, 3 touchdowns. Penix, 175. The end. End of conversation. Falcons, done. Off the channel, off the stream. No need to talk about them in sports. See you later. Gotta go. No time for the Falcons. The Panthers hanging on by a thread. We'll still talk about them and the ups and downs of those teams. We're basically cutting the league in half today. All right, 16 teams are going to be eliminated from me talking about how bad they are. We don't need to talk about it anymore. They're just bad. We can just say, you know what? You're done. See you later. And the Falcons are one of them. Gotta go, Bino. Gotta go. Texans and the Titans. The Texans beat the Titans 16-13. They won by 3. The Texans beat the Titans by 3. Mills actually played all right. Mills did okay, but come on. You only beat the Titans by 3? The Titans are now 1-9. Cam Ward can't throw the ball and, hit anything. He's just... He's man, it's like the Jets or the Browns drafted this guy, but the Titans drafted Cam Ward, and he is yikes. Yikes indeed. Mills threw for 274 and a touchdown. Okay? Texans are 500. We can still talk about them. It was bad in the beginning. It's still not good. It's not good. But their defense is really good. The rest of the team, not pretty. Cam Ward, 194 yards and a touchdown. Trash. Awful. Maybe he'll do better next year. But the Titans are out of here. Tossing them to the side, people. See ya. Titans, you're done. Texans still hanging on at 5-5. They still have a chance. Slim chance in the playoffs. But there is a chance. Okay? So we can still talk about the Texans. They're alive. We're going to the Bears and the Vikings. The Bears win in a walk-off fashion 19-17. The Bears are 7-3. The Bears on top of the NFC North. The Bears with a huge winning record. The Bears are in control of the division. Why are we talking about the flippin' Bears? Caleb Williams and the Bears. Does anybody think this Bears team has a legitimate shot to clinch this division, to win this division, to own this division? The Vikings are pretty much out. Vikings out of here. We're done talking about the Vikings. They're 4-6. See ya. Gotta go. Awful. J.J. McCarthy sucks. He's suck on top of suck on top of suck. It's that simple. Suck on top of suck on top of suck. That is the exact quote. All right? Horrible. Horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Here we go. Caleb Williams. The 7-3 Bears. Caleb Williams threw for 193. And nothing else. J.J. McCarthy, 150 with 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Awful. So bad. I didn't watch that game, but I watched the other one where it was bad, and they came back to win at the end, and they almost won this one. But McCarthy's so bad. Vikings, out of here. No need to talk about J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings. See ya. We still have to talk about the Bears, though, because they're 7-3. Do you guys think the Bears can win this division? Can the Bears win the NFC North? All right. 1 for yes, no, 2. Can the Bears win this division? They're in the lead right now. They're on top of the division. Back-to-back weeks. For 2 weeks now, the Bears are on top of the NFC North. What's happening? Steve thinks that they can win the division. Joe Moss thinks they can win the division. What is happening right now? I don't see it happening. Everybody can win the division. Not everybody. Not everybody's in the NFC North. Hey-oh, got him. But I get your point. I don't believe in the Bears. I don't think the Bears are going to do it. The Lions and the Packers are going to find a way to take it over. But there's a chance that the Bears make the playoffs. There's a chance. They're going to be fighting it out. Because I think the Packers are going to be there. Packers and Lions. One of those teams is going to be a wild card. The Niners and the Seahawks. So, I don't know. I don't believe in the Bears. Maybe you got to start believing in the Bears. Duh, Bears. But, man, I think there's too much competition in their division. And then you have the Seahawks and the Rams. I don't think this lasts. I think it crumbles in the next 2 weeks. And this fades away. But it's great news for the Bears. Great news for Chicago. But it's not going to last. They're going to hang on. Vikings, done on my show. Done. Out of here. Hopping to the Packers and the Giants. Packers beat the Giants 27-20. Love. Mr. Inconsistent. Mr. High-Low. Mr. Roller Coaster. 174 yards and 2 touchdowns. I know he lost Tucker Kraft. That's a big thing. His wide receivers are iffy. This guy's supposed to be good. This guy's supposed to be top-notch. He's supposed to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. He's not. He's above average. But that's it. That's it. And they beat the Giants. Giants go to 2-9. They had Winston at quarterback. They had to bench Russell Wilson for Jameis Winston. And the Packers barely win. It comes down to the end. And the Giants almost win this game. Packers should be way better than this. People have them as Super Bowl possibilities. They're 6-3-1. This team does not look good. Beating the Giants. Winston. 201 yards passing and an interception. And it could have been worse. Could have been, would have been, should have been worse. What a Bob. When's the next stream? Thursday nights for Thursday Night Football. And we'll do pre-snap read before Thursday Night Football. But the Giants, we're done talking about them. Dart's been hurt. Scatterboo's out. I just want to talk about Dart and my rookie cards I have from him. But, yeah, we got to keep an eye on the Packers, the Lions, and the Bears. Oh, my, in that division. Because I can't understand how the Bears are on top of that division. I don't understand. They almost lost to the Vikings twice. J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings twice, and they're on top of that division? Wow. Oh, and this brings us to the Chargers and the Jaguars. Chargers and the Jaguars. Man. 35-6. Jaguars with a win. Jaguars up to 6-4. Chargers down to 7-4. Man, I had the Chargers possibly win the division. Now Denver's securely in the lead. Chargers can still win the division. They can do it. But they're not in the driver's seat anymore. Justin Herbert looked horrendous. He had, what did he have? 81 yards passing. Where is that? 81 yards passing. Yep, 10 for 18, 81 yards passing, and an interception. Awful. Trevor Lawrence with the win. They crushed the Chargers. Trevor Lawrence had 153 yards passing and a touchdown to pick. So even if the Jaguars find a way to get into the playoffs in the AFC, they're not doing anything. Trevor Lawrence sucks, man. He's average at best. Average at best. He's mid at best. Doing things more with his legs than with his arm. Trevor Lawrence, overrated. And Justin Herbert, who I thought was a possible dark horse MVP, overrated. You cannot throw for 81 yards in an NFL game against a team in the conference. A team that's a possible playoff team. You don't even throw for 100 yards! How? Why? What? This guy is getting paid, what, over $50 million, Justin Herbert? For 81 yards passing against the Broncos. Against the Jaguars. My bad. Holy crap. Man, oh man. That's sick. That is sick. 6 points for the Chargers. What a disaster. These two teams we're still going to talk about. We're going to talk about how bad they are, ups and downs, all that stuff. But that is not good news for the Chargers. Good news for the Jaguars. They're 2 games back from the Colts. But the main thing I look at is quarterback play and defense. You got to have one of the two. If you have both, watch out. Super Bowl. You know, that's where the Chiefs come into play, with the quarterback and the defense. Broncos, defense. Quarterback, you know. The Colts, Daniel Jones, most passing yards. So they have the quarterback. I know you look at his history and you're like, Daniel Jones, they don't have the quarterback. But this year they do. All right. But they also have the running game. But quarterback or defense or both. So, man, the Bucs and the Bills, what a game that was. I almost covered that, but I covered the Chargers and the Jaguars. What a mistake. Anyway, Bucs back and forth, and the Bills pulled away at the end, 44-32 for a big win for the AFC. This was not a good weekend for the Colts fans, for me and the Colts fans and the Colts. Too many top teams in AFC won, dropping the Bucs down to 6-4. Baker put up a dud. Josh Allen had 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions early, but 6 total touchdowns, 3 passing, 3 rushing, moving his case for MVP back up. Baker going back down. I know he has lots of injuries. We get it. We talked about that a bunch on this channel. But where are the numbers? Let me see. Yeah, here it is. Baker, 173 yards passing and 1 touchdown, 1 pick. I'm not going to cut it against that Bills team. 6 touchdowns for Josh Allen, 313 yards through the air. His case moving up. Baker moving down. The Bills moving up. Possible chance at the division. They still have 1 game with the Patriots. But the Bills, way better now. They got a chance for the number 1 seed. But they're clearly behind the Patriots, Colts, and Broncos. But NFC falling down a notch in my eyes. You're going to see me Thursday. Why, what's up there, Chomas? Welcome in, Daniel Berry. The 49ers, easy. Panthers are done. 49ers, maybe. Bengals and Steelers. I picked the Bengals. No, I picked the Steelers, but I wanted the Bengals to win. But, yeah, hold on. Let me see. Oh, I picked the Jaguars over the Chargers? Did I? Hold on. Let me refresh. I thought I picked the... Hold on 1 second. My bad. Is it making it seem like I thought I took the Chargers? Or does it not have me signed in? Oh, that's right. Okay, they don't have me signed in over here. Yeah, so I think I took the Chargers. I didn't take the Jaguars. Anyway, it has me logged out, so that's why. So, anyways. The Bengals and the Steelers. Yeah, the Steelers won 34-12, but Aaron Rodgers got hurt. I don't know how long he's going to be out. I'll have to check that later on. But the Bengals 3-7, they're done. Even if Burrow comes back, Bengals season done, over. We don't have to talk about them. Maybe we'll talk about them when Burrow comes back. Otherwise, Flacco and these Bengals are awful, done, horrendous. No need to talk about them. The Steelers, 1 game up on the Ravens, and they still have 2 games to play, so we can still talk about the Steelers. We can still talk about the Ravens. Bengals, done. Flacco, overrated, not a Hall of Famer, and they're eliminated from the playoffs and my channel for now. So, big win for the Steelers to stay on top of the division for now. Big matchup. The Rams and the Seahawks. The Rams hold on to win 21-19, going up by a game over the Seahawks, top of the division, 8-2 versus 7-3. Man, listen to this. Stafford holding on to his case for the MVP. Darnold, who I had up there, right there, close to Stafford. But Darnold threw not one, not two, not three, but 4 interceptions, turning into the old Darnold. No way, you can't throw 4 interceptions against a division rival and think you're going to win this division. 4 interceptions. Stafford didn't have a big day. He threw for 130 yards. Stafford, possible MVP Stafford, and 2 touchdowns. But they did enough to win. The defenses held on. Defensive game. But Darnold, 4 picks. Can't have it. Can't do it. I don't even think he had 4 picks the whole season. He threw 4 picks in one game. That's how elite. I've been impressed with how well Darnold's been playing, throwing, tossing the ball around. And this was just ouch. But I predicted the Rams, and I still predict the Rams to win that division. Keep rocking, Rams. Keep rocking. Niners and Cardinals. 41-22. Niners crush them. Welcome back, Brock Purdy. He played pretty well. Purdy's back. Did the job. Got it done. Crushed the Cardinals. Cardinals are now 3-7. Here you go. Niners won. They blew up the Cardinals, but listen to this. Jacoby Brissett was 47 for 57, 452 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. This guy's throwing the ball everywhere in today's NFL. And he was horrendous for the Colts, Patriots, all these other teams. He's like a perpetual backup, and he's throwing the ball everywhere. And against this Niners defense, 452 yards is 452 yards. Even if you're playing from behind, that's insane. That's insane. So people are like, oh, the Colts almost lost to the Cardinals, but Brissett is playing well. He's having some games. He's tossing the ball around. It's insane. But Niners 7-4, keeping their playoff hopes alive. Probably a wild card. Probably a 6 or 7 seed. Have a chance at the division. Still think it's the Rams. But Cardinals out of here. Done. We'll see how long Brock Purdy stays around. But all right. The Ravens find a way to beat the Browns. They were losing a close game all game. The Ravens and the Browns. Close game. All game. Gabriel not playing well. Didn't do too great. And then he got hurt. Concussed. Pushed to the side. And out comes Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Legendary Sanders. The worst. He's the worst. He's the worst. He is worse than the worst. Horrible. Not a starter. Not a backup. He's the 3rd stringer. Listen to his stats. If I can find them. That's how trash. I got to get him out of the garbage. Did I even write him down? Yeah, I did write him down. 4 for 16. 25% passing. 47 yards. And an interception. Sacked twice. Shedeur Sanders in relief. He comes into the game with the lead over the Ravens. And they end up losing by 7. Shedeur Sanders, he's not ready. He's horrible. There's a reason why he's picking the 5th round. He's trash. He's garbage. He's terrible. Played well in college. This isn't college. This is the NFL. You got to kick up your game 1, 2, 3 levels. I know it's his rookie year. I know. We got to give him a chance. Or do we? Do we really? I don't think so. Stafford went to Georgia. I was forgetting about. I always forget his college. I always forget where Stafford went. So many years ago where I didn't really pay attention to much college. Anyway, Stafford possible MVP. JT right behind him. I feel like it's a 2-man race right now with Stafford and JT. Anyway, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders before we don't have to talk about him anymore. But he might play next week. I don't know if Gabriel's going to be back. He might be concussed, and then Shedeur Sanders might start. We might have to talk about him one more week before he is a dumpster fire forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. But anyway, he's horrible, terrible. And Lamar didn't have a good game. He went 14 for 25, 193 yards and 2 interceptions. but it was the Browns' defense. But they got the win. They're one game behind the Steelers. Ravens hanging on. Browns flushed down the toilet to 2-8. Done with the Browns. Out of here. Off the channel. We don't need you. Chiefs and the Broncos in a close game. Nail biter that the Broncos won. The game that the Chiefs always win. Not this time. Not yesterday. Broncos go to 9-2, sinking the Chiefs to 5-5. Bo Nix outplayed Mahomes, which is a big thing to say. Pretty wild. Pretty crazy. Pretty amazing. Good stuff, Broncos. Their defense is awesome. The Chiefs' defense is pretty good. So the Colts may struggle next week against the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a defense. But they're just not winning the games that they always won in the past. This year, not anymore. Not anymore. The luck has run dry. Man, oh man. The Colts remind you of the Cards remind you of the Colts in the recent history. Almost had it. So close yet so far there, Steve. Man, oh man. Cards are the best of the bad, so they're bad. They're bad, but yeah, they are better. The better team than those other craptastic teams. But anyway, the Chiefs are hosting the Colts next week, and if the Colts beat the Chiefs, that sinks the Chiefs to 5-6. They might not even be a wild card team. With the Jaguars rising, with the Ravens rising, with the Steelers still winning, with the Texans at 5-5. And not only that, the Jaguars, they beat the Chiefs in a head-to-head matchup. So if they end up locked, the Jaguars are going to get in. The Jaguars are going to be in, not the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are in bad shape. They need to win desperately. Their backs against the wall against the Colts. So watch out, Colts. The Chiefs have to do every single thing to win that game, because otherwise they're in bad shape. The Chiefs might be eliminated. So if the Colts go in there, shellac the Chiefs, we might see something we haven't seen in a while. The Chiefs missing the playoffs. That would be insane. But the Ravens, Steelers, Jags, and possibly the Texans, there might not be room for them with the Chargers, Broncos, Bills, Patriots. There's not going to be a room for one of those teams. I know you want to bet on the Chiefs. Makes sense. But if they lose to the Colts, it doesn't make much sense anymore. So, let's go Colts. Everybody and their grandma better be rooting for the Indianapolis Colts and JT MVP next week, so we get those Chiefs out of the playoffs. We send them home before it even starts. You stay home for the playoffs. That's what we need to see. That's what we need to happen. As the Colts still need to keep rising to get that number one seed. And oh man, I didn't watch this game because I had to cover the Grey Cup. Then I covered the Avalanche hockey instead. The Lions and the Eagles. Another back-to-back dud game for the Eagles, but they hold on to win. 16-9 over the Lions. They beat the Packers 10-7 on Thursday night. I think it was Thursday night last week, and they beat the Rams 16-9 this past weekend. Oh, man. Goff was terrible. What was he? He was 14 for 37. 14 for 37, Jared Goff. 255 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. I mean, Hurts wasn't great. Barkley had like 23 carries for like 82 yards, something like that. Not a great day for him, but that Eagles defense smothering Goff, making him look like an amateur, making him look back like how he looked against the Packers in week 1. Goff, brutal. Dud of the NFC. So the Eagles are in the front row seat for the number one seed at 8-2. Rams on their tail, and Seahawks behind them. But the Eagles don't have to worry about the Lions. They don't have to worry about the Packers. They don't have to worry about the Bucks. The Rams are right there, but they got to step over them. So Eagles cruising to the number one seed. We'll still talk about the Lions and the Eagles, but man, Goff, another dud against an NFC team. You can't have it. And then we just watched the Cowboys destroy the Raiders. Awful, ugly, ridiculous. Raiders are done off this channel. We don't need to talk about them outside of fantasy purposes. They are brutal. Colts, JT, MVP. But we still get to hang on to the Cowboys for another week. They're 4-5-1. They were buyers at the trading deadline. They're still hanging on. They had to crush the Raiders, and they did. Javonte Williams, solid running back. Dak, well, he shows up. George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, those two wide receivers are amazing. So that's making Dak look good. Those two wide receivers makes him look good, I tell you. So they're at the bottom of the barrel there, the Cowboys. They're the last team that's staying out there on this channel before they get the big ugly axe. Very, very soon, we don't have to talk about the Cowboys anymore. But they hang on today, they hang on next week, and we'll see if we toss them to the side. Because we're pretty much down to about 16 teams left to talk about. 16 teams left. And then, because 14 teams are making the playoffs. So I think we're down to 18. Almost half the league is chopped down. Almost. But alright, that's a quick recap. That's what happened. That's what we're talking about. Colts got to bounce back against the Chiefs next week. That's the big one. A lot of good teams in the AFC. The NFC was a powerhouse, but they didn't play well this weekend. But Rams up there. Eagles up there. Bears up there? No. Rams and Eagles are my top two in the NFC. As for the AFC, you got the Colts, Patriots, and Broncos. Those three. Those are my top five. 3 in the AFC, 2 in the NFC. Those are the top teams. Watch out for them. You can put them in any order you want right now because they're all playing great. All right, all playing awesome. So that's that. That's the recap. We're chopping down teams little by little. Let's go. All right. And as per usual, people, stop talking, start doing, shut your mouth, get to work, do some work, rise to the top, but stop talking about it and do it. Freaking do it. Please stop, read. See you on Thursday before Thursday Night Football. Pre, snap, read. Post, snap, read. See you Thursday.